Ah, yes. Here we are again in the mid-size crossover SUV segment that I didn't think I would cover as much when I first started this channel, but to be honest, this has been a lot of my content lately, and I'm okay with it. Now, here is one of the top contenders for this segment, the 2025 Ford Explorer ST line. And what's the ST on her for 2025? Well, let's get into it, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Sparkplug TV. My name is Chris and I do car reviews for literally everybody, not just car enthusiasts. Before I begin today's video, as always, please do me the biggest favor ever and like this video, comment something down below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so that you get notified whenever I drop a new video, which is whenever I can. Thank you so much for your support. Starting out in 1991, the Ford Explorer started life as a body-on-frame mid-size SUV. It came either with a V6 or a V8. Now, in 2020, we are in the 6th generation of this now crossover unibody SUV. The crossover unibody came about in the 2011 5th generation, and this is the facelifted, refreshed version for the 2025 model year. But do I like the way that they refreshed it? Well, let's get into it. Now, the biggest and most obvious change that they've made to the front end has got to be this oversized, massive grille. It used to be a smaller version that they've now elongated to, I guess, make it maybe look a little bit more aggressive and sporty, but honestly, I don't think it really needed it. I think what they should have done instead has changed it. I think what they should have done instead is change the different grille designs like they did for the 2025 Maverick, because I really liked the way that the air intakes actually look with the smaller little grille up top. I liked that. Now, they also changed the headlamps, and not to mention the LED daytime running light has not changed at all. Overall, not really for me. I see what they're trying to do, and some people will like it. I'm seeing them on the roads. Just not really for me. The side profile looks virtually the same and has since it became a crossover SUV. You can still see the tail lamps that kind of encroach upon the side profile, as well as the headlamps. Now, these come with really nice, really big 20-inch wheels that look really great with the side profile. Also new for 2025 is the fact that they have shaved off some of the trim levels. There are no longer a King Ranch or an XLT or a base model. You get 4 trims with the Timberline coming soon. It starts around $41,000 for the Active, and then the ST is around $55,000. This is the ST line for around $46,000, and honestly, this might be the one to get because even after you put all the niceties, the comfort features, and all of that, you're still coming out way less than if you were to get a Platinum. Plus, you can get this with the 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive drivetrain. Now to my favorite part of the exterior redesign, and it's got to be the back end. And at this point, I think we all know that I love a nice back end, and this one is no exception. It kind of takes a page from the beginning 5th generation in the sense that it used to have a silver bar that went across the back. Now it has a piano gloss black bar that goes across the back with the raised Explorer lettering. I think that it looks really nice, and I think that it also kind of falls in line with some of the design languages that's going on right now across all of the automakers. What I also really like is the fact that they didn't make it a light bar necessarily, but they have this like staggered look right here, and I think that it looks the best, whereas I'm still kind of on the fence in the front end. Now, speaking to the cargo capacity, with the 3 rows up, you get about 16 cubic feet of storage. With the 3rd row down, you get about 46 cubic feet, and then with the 3rd and 2nd row down, you get about 85 cubic feet of total storage, which isn't the biggest on the market, but it's also not terrible because unlike GM, they haven't really elongated this platform since it came out. Hello, this is the 2.3-liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine that outputs a staggering 300 horsepower and 315 pound-feet of torque. It's then tethered to a 10-speed automatic transmission, which is pretty standard for trucks and SUVs at Ford, and it comes in either rear-wheel or all-wheel drive. If you don't want that, you can also get the twin-turbocharged 3-liter V6 that outputs 400 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of total torque. That's optional in the Platinum, but it's standard in the ST and unavailable in Active and the ST line. Regardless of what powertrain you choose, you can still tow up to 5,000 pounds, which is standard for the segment, but surprising for either powertrains. If you've seen my videos before, you know that I've covered the 2022 Explorer Timberline, and I really liked that one. There was nothing objectively wrong with it, except maybe the teeny tiny little infotainment system. But I think where Ford has shined the most on this refresh has got to be on this interior redesign. It's really subtle, but it's like really impactful. And I think the biggest, most obvious change has got to be in the infotainment system, because again, previously you could choose between that teeny tiny little 8-incher, which is not small if we're talking about some other things, but you could also choose the like vertical iPad that I just did not care for. Now they've kind of gone somewhere in the middle with a 12.3-inch horizontal touchscreen infotainment system that has Google integrated into it with the Google Maps, as well as the AI assistant that you can set the temperature for the cabin with and all that stuff, which is helpful because they've also foregone the majority of the physical buttons, including the HVAC controls, which we all know that at this point that I'm not the biggest fan of when they do that, but I think with the fact that the temperature controls are just kind of like right there, it's well enough that like it's permissible. Like I will allow it. I'll allow it, okay? The other kind of more subtle but impactful change that they made to the interior is the dashboard design. It is like got 4 or 5 different types of materials, from this soft touch molded plastic up top, this really nice cloth that houses the tweeters in the Bang & Olufsen sound system, this really soft touch leather, this kind of faux carbon fiber, as well as this kind of faux chrome piece that puts the Explorer logo on the passenger side. I really like it. I think it's a really nice touch. It's got really nice red leather stitching. It looks really good, and it's a nice cabin to be in for sure. The only thing I don't like about, which they should have done in the redesign, is this center console kind of cubby. I don't like that button, and of course it's like behaving for me, but if you don't press it a certain way, it won't open for you, which I don't know, it's okay. But that's like the only qualm I have about the interior, because I like this spinny gear selector, because if you're gonna do that, you need to put the volume button somewhere else, and they did that. It's got a lot of get up and go too, but I'll get to that in a second. These chairs are incredibly comfortable. It's got the ST line finish to it with the red stitching as well, but they're kind of like half cloth, half leatherette, but they're like really nice and really comfortable and ergonomic too. Like this headrest fits right on me. I've got a ton of headroom. You know, it's a really comfortable car. Now to speak to the second and third row, of course, it did not grow any bigger like the Acadia or the Traverse or any of GM's products at this point, right? And it's still probably along the same length as like the Palisade and the Telluride, and probably the Honda Pilot, which is like not passable for 6'4" me. I think, again, if everybody were to kind of move their chairs up, which the second row is on rails, then I could comfortably sit in the third row. But I am happy to report I do have headroom in every row in this car, which is not something that I could have said for the Acadia. Now, the biggest news to come out of the 2025 Ford Explorer has got to be the now optional BlueCruise that is optional for the ST line and up, and is standard for the Platinum and the ST. It is only a $500, $495 option, as opposed to Super Cruise's $3,000. And you know what? You really do get what you paid for, because I'm getting on the highway right now, and I'm going to show you just how I feel that BlueCruise is kind of a notch under Super Cruise. So, typically, when you start out on the highway, it will kind of give you the more Ford Co-Pilot 360 feel, where it is a lane centering, kind of give. And then once I think it has enough, I don't know what the parameters are around it, but eventually you will have BlueCruise that turns on. Now, the things that kind of put this at a notch below Super Cruise is the fact that it doesn't feel nearly as safe. It still works, and it still does keep you center of the lane, but in actuality, it doesn't feel as confident at keeping it in a center capacity as much as Super Cruise did. The other thing is that it doesn't do automatic lane changing. I have to manually do that, which nitpicky, right? And honestly, I didn't even really like it on the Super Cruise. I want to be able to change lanes myself, and I thought it was a little assumptive, especially like if you're getting off at an exit like sooner than later, like whatever, right? The other reason that I think it's a notch below Super Cruise is because it asks me to take control of it more than Super Cruise did. This just seems like it's not as confident in more ways than one. It works, and it works fine, and I think like it's kind of nitpicky at this point, but nothing really compares to Super Cruise, honestly. This is fine, and I would definitely get for $500. That's a steal. I mean, if you get self-drive, now it is $500 and you do have a subscription after 90 days, but I think it's definitely an option that you should consider. So between takes of my driving portion of the video and the final thoughts portion, I have like 10 minutes that I think what I'm going to say in my final thoughts. And I think I came to the conclusion that like I could forgive the front end to buy the 2025 Ford Explorer. And I know that's like kind of hypocritical, but the front end's redesign is really not all that bad that like it would disbar me from like thinking or considering one of these vehicles. I mean, you know, the second row is on rails, which is really important for a family SUV. This one comes with a 360-degree camera. What I forgot to mention in the driving portion is just how comfortable a ride this is, and I see why so many people buy this. I love the redesign of the interior. I think that you get a lot for $46,000, especially a really nice sound system, a towing capacity of 5,000 pounds, a comfortable, easy ride that can also double as a performance-oriented, kind of sleeper, and kind of out of nowhere, kind of out of left field, especially with the 4-cylinder. I mean, it's an impressive power and drivetrain, especially for the fact that it's a rear-wheel drive, so unlike the Acadia, the Traverse, and the Enclave, this is actually rear-wheel bias and doesn't give you torque steer, which the Acadia did. And for that alone, I might end up buying something like this. I mean, if like gun to my head, like if I had to choose a midsize SUV, like it would probably be between this and the Santa Fe. Yeah, those are my final thoughts. So thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell icon so that you get notified whenever I drop a new video, which is whenever I can. And I'm at the grocery store, and I'm gonna go buy my groceries for the week. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Hey Sparks, thanks for watching today's video. Do you want more Sparkplug TV content? Then you can choose one of these 3 options right over here. The middle button is to subscribe to my channel, so please do that. Right over here. These 3. I can't see them in real life, but they're right here.